Hey there and welcome back to another Obi-Wan Kenobi video. And today we'll be tackling the second part of the double episode release that opened the season with part 2. And so, let's not waste any time and jump straight into things. So we open with Obi-Wan having arrived on planet Daiyu and discovering he's no longer able to track the ship that Leia was on as there is a planet-wide signal block, because it's one of those dodgy planets. Anyway, he enters the city incognito, which apparently to him means wearing a brown hooded robe that makes him look like an obvious Jedi. Like, I know that other people would likely wear them, but in the prequels, basically every single Jedi ever wears one. It's like they're given one at birth. So if I was an Inquisitor, I'd probably be quite drawn to anybody who dresses like that. I feel like wearing bright colours would actually be a much better disguise, all things considered. I mean, it's no wonder that with billions of livable planets, the Inquisitors seem to be able to sniff out every Jedi ever. They just don't have a clue of how to hide properly. We then had a few more interesting moments in this sequence. One where he gives some money to a homeless clone veteran, and this scene's one part sad because those dudes fought and died for the Republic, and then were brainwashed into murdering the Jedi and then were just tossed away. But it's also one part eerie. I mean, you can see the conflicting emotions flicker across Obi-Wan's face here. One part disdain, one part pity and shock, and fear's there as well. Great acting, honestly. And then Ewan McGregor's daughter gives Obi-Wan some free drugs, and a little kid leads him to a supposed Jedi, who turns out to be a con artist who takes advantage of frightened people in need, like the mother trying to escape the planet with her Force-sensitive son and giving him all the credits that she has. And ugh, this made me feel dirty just watching this happen. And honestly, I think Obi-Wan felt a bit similar, as he then threatens the dude and intimidates him into helping him find where Leia might be. So he infiltrates what seems to be a drug lab, causes an explosion, and works his way deeper into, a crime compound, and fights two henchmen hand to hand. And he even takes a hit from one, bloodying his nose in the process. So clearly, they're really reinforcing here that he's not at the top of his game if some low-level gangster thug can hurt him at this stage. How far he has fallen. And also, when he smacks one, does he hurt his hand on the spikes of his head? Because if so, that's a great detail. Very immersive when things like that happen. And then, the main thugs spring the trap and it fails, due to the free drugs from earlier, which he uses to get them high so that he can escape alongside Leia, just as Reva turns up. But the two are able to slip away whilst Reva gets accosted by the other Inquisitors, with the Grand Inquisitor dressing her down, calling her a gutter rat. Oof, what a nice man. Somehow, I don't see her affiliation with the Empire lasting too many more episodes. She's going to go fully rogue at some point and go completely bananas, and I'm actually pretty excited for that too. Anyway, she puts out a call for every bounty hunter in the city to be on the lookout for Kenobi so that she can be the one to get her hands on him, and avoid the Grand Inquisitor being a complete glory hog. And then we have one of the cutest sequences in the show so far. Well, actually, yeah, it is the cutest. It beats out Luke getting the toy. Where Leia proves herself to be Anakin's daughter and just spends a couple of minutes annoying poor old Obi-Wan, begging him to buy her a colourful jacket, forcing him to buy her matching gloves to go with her brand new green jacket, begging for food, calling him old, asking to use his lightsaber, bringing up the fact that the Jedi were massacred in the most nonchalant way possible, asking him to make her float using the Force, and telling him that he probably isn't even a real Jedi. And then imparting some wisdom that makes her seem far older than her years. It was very cute, and you could equally see flashes of Episode 2 Anakin as well as future Leia from the original trilogy. Great acting and great scripting. I know some people found it kind of annoying, but I just thought she really fit into the scene and the show in general quite well. She just makes sense as the character, and for me, the continuity of her personality lines up perfectly for when she gets older. Unfortunately though, it all goes to shit when she glimpses a wanted poster of him and freaks out, running away into the crowded streets, and once again, watching her run is very funny. She has such little legs and she goes so slowly. It's very cute. And yet somehow she outruns him. I guess he really has gotten older. And she manages to get all the way onto a roof before he manages to catch up to her. And that's only because a bounty hunter appears and frightens her. Seriously mate, gotta work on that cardio, you're a Jedi. Anyway, a gunfight ensues across the roof, with Reva trying to make her way towards them using her Force parkour skills, before Leia decides to try and make a jump between the buildings to try and escape all of these dangerous, scary people. And obviously, since she is 10, she has very little legs, and she falls and has to be saved by Obi-Wan's use of the Force. The first time that he's properly used it in the show. So this is signaling he's going to slowly return to form from this episode onwards, I'd imagine. At least, I hope so. Old Man Kenobi's fun, but let's get some lightsabers up in here. Anyway, now that they're friends again, they make their way to the spaceport, but it's all locked down. And so luckily, the fake Jedi Haja comes to the rescue and gives them access to an automated cargo port that will take them to people who can help them. And then he leaves to buy them time. And it seems like he would have no chance against the Inquisitors, but okay. And what do you know? I was right. He is a liability, and his distraction literally just leads Reva to where she needs to go for the plot. Otherwise, she would literally have never found them. Also, after she extracts the information, I feel like based on what she's been like so far, it's a little bit out of character for her to not just straight up kill this guy for helping Obi-Wan. So then our duo arrives at the cargo bay, and there's a cute little scene where Obi-Wan acknowledges that Leia is also very much like Padme, which to me was a very nice touch, as I feel like Padme never gets mentioned in Star Wars after her death. I know Vader's mentioned a bit in the sequels, but was Padme? I can't quite recall. And if she was, it wasn't really that often. So it was nice to see it here. And at this point, Reva turns up and starts hunting Obi-Wan around the cargo loading zone, taunting him about his fear, and then revealing that Darth Vader's alive, and that she knows he's Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, I'm thinking my theory from the first episode that she was a youngling, or a Padawan that was picked up during the attack on the temple by Anakin, might actually be right on the money. I don't see why he would ever share that information otherwise, and this just shatters Obi-Wan's worldview, because now he knows he failed, and that Anakin is still alive, and he's still hunting down Jedi, and is still a major threat to both Luke and Leia. And then the Grand Inquisitor turns up and gets straight up murdered by Reva after some more ill-advised trash talk, and approaching her without a lightsaber turned on. What a rookie, man! But surely he's only mostly dead, right?
Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
As he appears later in the timeline during Rebels. Are they going to just replace his organs or something to save him? I guess they have to. And in the confusion, Obi-Wan and Leia escape on their cargo ship whilst Reva angrily shakes her fist, before we finish with a shot of Vader in a Bacta tank. And God, he looks gnarly. I never thought I'd see his naked chest outside of a suit again, but that makeup must have taken ages to apply. It looks really gross. And I'm really excited to see how all of this goes. I hope he has some dialogue without the mask so we can hear his voice again. But anyway, that's where the episode ends, and so I'll just remind you that these were my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the second episode? You like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.